amazing point you made. And sticking to collaboration, maybe I would turn to Rahul to understand his viewpoint and maybe also from Rajesh later. And how do we really take the supplier selection, collaboration, this whole thing, taking these expectations to our next level of supply chain and really build that collaboration? How do we do that?
As rightly Rajendra mentioned, that we need to have some adaptable approach for that. We need to ready for the change. We need to have anticipation. Suppose we have 20,000 scheduled for the month, and if I should monitor my customers' production, if it is being in 1,000 in a day, then we need to be gear up for 25,000. And accordingly, we need to gear up our suppliers. Accordingly, we need to gear up our service providers and inform them, because we need to increase our communication channel. That could be the success key for that. And moreover, trust building or relationship is also most important thing. Because if your supplier trusts on you and you trust on your customer, then definitely things will change, definitely. So from that perspective, I believe we need to increase our communication channel. We need to be transparent with our business partners. We should treat them as business partners, not instead of a vendor or a service provider. So these things, they definitely change. And if anything goes drop down any schedule, transparently we should upfront inform to our supplier that it is getting dropped down. Definitely it will not drop down immediately. Slowly it gets dropped down. That we need to anticipate, and accordingly we need to trigger up our supplier. It could be this.
Thank you. And maybe I would request inputs from Rajesh and maybe Raman also. I mean, with your number of decades experience over the period, being in the OEMs and this side of the automotive supply chain, and have you seen that the supplier selection primary criteria is actually shifting from the cost down to really a long-term collaboration where we really go beyond the traditional assessment of a supplier to really understand the nuances which will make them and us, winner or win in the longer term? I mean, something you would like to talk about those criteria in supplier selection or collaboration?
Yeah. My name is Rajesh Chudhary. I'm working with American Axle in procurement. So, as you rightly said, now we have basically implemented two strategies. One is basically early supplier involvement. So, right from engineering side, we are involving suppliers so that they come up with some innovative ideas for the process change. Currently, we may be using some different process. If supplier comes with another process and we can save the takt time and the throughput time for the product manufacturing, so that is welcoming thing. Second, basically, we are implementing risk mitigation, jointly risk mitigation, so that right from raw material sources to the logistics suppliers. So we are basically discussing each and every point at the minority level, so that we are not missing any link and we can deliver the final product to the end customers. So these are basically two important aspects we have implemented.
Can I just add to that from a logistics perspective? So fantastic, we had some very good conversations. So we talked about value rather than cost, okay? And this is a pet subject of mine, where in conferences like this, everybody talks about looking at value, but when it actually comes down, it's cost. So I think we have to change our mindset, with no disrespect to anybody in the room or elsewhere. We really need to evaluate the value, right? And then determine, let's look at the total cost to serve. I mean, I've had examples where people are pushing down warehousing costs, and when you try to tell them you're spending a lot more in the detention of your vehicles outside, somebody says, hey, that's not my lookout, that's the transport department, right? I'm looking after reducing warehousing costs. But is that really bringing in a cost-effective solution? No. So I would say, like my friend said, trust, right? While selecting your partner, whoever it is, you must trust them. And secondly, do share data on real-time basis transparently, right? For years, I mean, we at Freight Systems, we have APIs with so many global supply chains, including Apple and Tridonics, etc. in Europe, USA. But in India, for some reason, many companies are still shying away from providing API, which will give real-time data, right? Now, my humble suggestion and request is, if they really want to achieve the best cost, the best fit, you must trust your partner, be transparent, involve them in the SNOP planning, right? So that there are no surprises, because we all know it's a VUCA world. You don't know what's going to change, right? So, again, humble request to the fraternity, trust your partners, be transparent with them, involve them in your planning process, and I'm sure they will not only help you reduce costs, but also improve efficiency, productivity, and throw out the waste. So, that's a little, I thought I'd like to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take it forward, I thought of pulling in Dr. Byrne. With your, long-standing career with Philips in multiple roles, multiple functions, last 5 years you have been leading a tech company, big tech. How technology plays, you have heard these things about VUCA world, all the proliferation, challenges. How technology can help us here?
Yeah, I think, first of all, thank you everybody for having me here. I will fly back to Germany tonight and I feel so welcome, well received, and I really will go back with a lot of good feelings. So thanks to everybody who contributes. Coming to the question, I'm an engineer. I love technology, but throughout my career, I was looking at how can we use technology to add value, to develop new businesses, to improve existing businesses. And if I look at LIDEC and the environment, automotive, I'm now busy with for the last couple of years, I think we have been looking into efficiency, Kaizen, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma, and so on for many, many years. And the longer you go, the more difficult it is to really come to improvements. So they become more and more incremental. Now, fortunately, there's new technology. There is cloud systems. There is IoT, Industry 4.0. There's data science, and there are more and more artificial intelligence solutions that are tool sets for us. Yeah, they don't have a purpose in itself. They are tool sets. And I believe that those tool sets will enable us to go from where we are today to even more transparency, from that transparency to more predictability, and ultimately towards more self-management. There's the concept of dark factories out there, which says, okay, you don't need humans anymore, you don't need light anymore. I think that's still a long way to go. So my point is, we need to think about how can we use that technology. And the guiding principle, I come back to the value and cost discussion. I truly believe it starts with value. And yes, at the end, of course, value, cost, overall cost, total cost of ownership will be important. But it starts with value, and an important element for creating value for me is scalability. So I think the risk with technology is always that you do proof of concepts, you do minimum viable products, and it doesn't go beyond that. Yeah. McKinsey called it the pilot purgatory. Yeah. So looking for value, looking for how does it scale, and yes, what does it cost at the end? That's my take on the role of technology.
Yeah, thank you. And maybe a supporting question to that, Dr. Byrne. You come from Germany, and a lot of, not a lot, majority of the manufacturing industry, be it the manufacturing technology, systems, processes, I think in India those have come mainly from the Europe and from US. You have been ahead of the curve. In terms of logistics capability building, risk mitigation, whatever problems we face, some insights around what's being done to address these kind of issues over there?
Yeah, maybe a comment I didn't mention in my previous sentences, the word data, I think, except data science. I truly believe that in order to come to the next level of performance, we need to work on data, and with we mean all of us. I believe that if I look at our customers, automotive, Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, Ford, Toyota, these are our big customers. And they're also thinking about it. And they have all their own blueprint Volkswagen is in the AWS cloud, and BMW is in the Microsoft cloud. They all have their blueprints. However, one, they are complex companies. Yeah, there's corporate IT, and there's purchasing, and then manufacturing, and head of strategy, and they all have a say. So while the blueprint in the high-gloss presentation is there, it takes a while until things get really done. And for us, that's an opportunity where we have to prepare for, one, we have to cater for all of their needs. Is it AWS, is it Microsoft, is it Alibaba, whatever? Be ready. Better come with proposals, how you interface flexibly, and help them on the journey, because, as I just said, while it seems that they have all their act together, our experience is still a lot of help and opportunity to impress is out there. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you. Quickly, maybe I would go to Raman now to understand your viewpoint in terms of building the collaboration with the logistics, within logistics value chain. I mean, the 3PLs, 4PLs. Talk about that. What's been done in the last few years.
In terms of selection process. So, yeah, today it's a changing world as far as India is concerned, with India progressing rapidly and exponentially. So the role of 3PL has also become very important. So today, as the panelists were discussing about, it's we are still growing as a 3PL. It is still growing, and we are still usually tier 1 as far as the supply chain in terms of OEM is concerned, but we have to go up to tier 2, tier 3. When the concept of 3PL was started, it was basically only cost effectiveness, then it went into quality, then it went into what should I say, in terms of improvements, then it was more into complaints, etc. So this is where we are currently. But there is something beyond to all this. One is in terms of what value addition the 3PL will give. It's not only cost, it is a complete value addition that will give, which as people were saying in terms of data intelligence, which is very important in today's scenario, and also AI. So today AI is very underutilized in the 3PL. So these will be the governing factors for tomorrow, and it will also be one of the major selection process of new 3PLs.
Thank you. And before I go to Mr. Bhalla, I would request input from maybe Mandar and Ravindra. You are the customer to the 3PL companies. I mean, like you mentioned, 110 minutes of time you have to put the console together and drop it to the TCF of Tata Motors. The logistics partner, I mean, those who are doing this kitting work, loading, moving it to the Tata Motors gate, doing all the documentation, maintaining the inventory accuracy. Are you seeing the capability build up? Because a lot of logistics strategy revolves around outsourcing. And are you seeing that the companies are really putting their act together and giving you that level of service which is expected to meet that kind of requirements from your customers?
Yes, answer is yes, partly. Extremely sorry, partly. But as a customer, we are not entirely satisfied with the services what we get and what we have to give to our end customer. The first and foremost, what we expect from our logistic partner is the entire transparency. The way we saw in the morning, somebody said of the Amazon, if I book my order, I don't remember any time I did any follow-up with the Amazon. When you are going to deliver, are you going to deliver or no? But I keep getting continuous updates. Order has been booked, it has been picked up, it has been on the way, it will be delivered by so and so time, it is delivered, everything, end-to-end traceability or transparency, whatever we call it. Similar way, if we get a communication from our partner, yes, your consignment has been picked up, it will be delivered at so and so time, and of course this is backed up by plan B and C. If something goes wrong on the road, when I say something goes wrong on the road, either the vehicle failures or the traffic or anything, or the driver is upset, whatever it can be, but we cannot suffer. customer cannot supply. So really today, as we were discussing in the morning, in the agreement we write such and such truck blade has to be there, but some of the trucks are not meeting those specifications. Then on the road they have been stopped by the RTOs and the police, and then a lot of hassles have been created. So whatever is mentioned in the agreements, and once it is accepted, we have to deliver beyond it. The way we expect from our customer, our supplier, that he has to deliver beyond what I stated. Similarly, I am also supplier to my customer, I have to deliver beyond. So really logistics plays a very important role, otherwise it turns out a dead inventory and we lose a lot of business. And the trust is our customer.
Thank you, Ravindra. So maybe I'll look towards Mr. Bhalla to answer the,
Great. So again, from a logistics perspective, today there's a lot of tools and technologies available, right? So, for example, we run a fulfillment center for one of the e-commerce companies. We have about 250,000 pieces a day, and it's a sortation center which is integrated with the DMS. So we have advanced order booking, warehouse management, and DMS. Those technologies are available. Now, the only challenge is customer must be willing to interface with that, right? And that's where we have challenges. Somebody talks about firewall, although our data is on AWS in spite of that, right? So these are mindsets. If we can change that, we can get the results which Sir is talking about, number one. Number two, at Freight Systems, we have a tool, Presscom, which is patented. We push through all channels, SMS, email, WhatsApp, the information, right? One more thing I want to say is in selection is both the soft and the hard infrastructure. So for example, a company like Freight Systems, we run a free trade warehousing zone in Dubai, right? Where we offer multimodal sea, air and air sea combinations to take care of contingencies in the international world for example, right? And so you can make quick changes, provided your partner has a network which has the capability. So like I said, soft infrastructure, hard infrastructure, and trained people who know the technology that's available how to deploy. And one more thing, sir, which we are doing now, again, from the association side, is we are starting a rating and grading system for warehousing and infrastructure, where we will also have criteria like sustainability and green building and all those kind of things, which will help users differentiate and again look at the value then rather than just the cost.